something?
Yeah,
You would build it?
no.
It'll say it, so it'll pop up there that but because the meeting is
It'd be a legacy
pre-scheduled,
type purchase.
you want to click it on this, on the Zoom app. I have it pre-scheduled on the Zoom app.
Okay.
Recording.
Brainwash the dirt off. No. Dust.
Call to order the meeting on Monday, June 2nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call here in a minute, just so everybody knows, Joel is out on an excused absence here, so Jenny, please roll call.
Mayor Vogel,
Here.
council members Robinson,
Here,
Udvig, here, Faunus, here.
On to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
make that motion, Mayor.
Motion made by Councilman Robinson. Wow. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Udvig. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All the same sign. On to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Robinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Faunus. Anybody want to discuss any of those or everybody okay? Okay, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All the same sign. On to meeting open to the public. Anybody like to speak? Just state your name and address, please, Roxanne. Thank you.
Do you want my city address or my home address? Which do you prefer?
Oh. Does it matter? Said your home address.
Meaning my business address or my residential address?
Either one is fine. There we
Okay,
go.
thank you.
Just so we have something to
Fair enough. All right.
follow up on if we need to follow up.
Understood. My name is Roxanne Schrader. Our business address is 23306 Cree Street Northwest in the city of St. Francis, and it's in Suite 103. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and staff. My name is Roxanne Schrader, and along with my husband, Andy, we have submitted a purchase agreement to acquire the property at 23340 Cree Street Northwest. As you may recall, Andy presented during the council's open forum on February 18th this year, extending interest in the building in question. We have inquired with city staff over a year about the potential sale of the building once the new city hall was completed. We have repeatedly utilized the building for staff meetings in the past. We saw the opportunity to solidify our businesses within the city of St. Francis from being a renter in the professional building next door for the last 5 years to a building owner by purchasing this property. We currently house 2 businesses in our approximate 800 square feet of office space. Rum River Consultants, a firm dedicated to life safety building and fire code administration, rental licensing and inspections, in addition to zoning and code administration services, provides assistance to numerous municipalities in East Central Minnesota. Performance by Design is a general contracting business that applies the code knowledge and building science gained through Rum River's experience to local residents' high-performance dream homes. Our third business would join us in the office building when space is available. Baseline Technologies supports the built environment with community development software utilized by municipalities, general contractors, and property owners. We look forward to a larger space that provides a more efficient operational space for our team members, allowing further collaboration. Andy and I have been blessed beyond measure to have dedicated, professional, and growth-oriented team members interested in supporting our surrounding communities through these businesses and beyond. Rum River is the oldest of the 3 companies and established its office out of St. Francis over 5 years ago. During this time, not only have we focused on safety for our customers in our company endeavors, we have provided countless opportunities to give back to the communities that we serve. This was done through our annual food shelf donations to over 18 food pantries this past Christmas, supporting local Chamber of Commerce and Rotary initiatives, festival participation, youth activities, Adopt a Highway efforts, and strong supporter for faith organizations. We have a track record of responsible business practices in this community and many others. I would like to take this time to acknowledge that we provided our highest and best offer to the city when we submitted our purchase agreement letter in March. In the April 21st council meeting, where the sale of this property was discussed at length, it had been decided not to reopen the bids. The original offers stood, and further negotiation was to be opened with Rum River Consultants, is what we understood. We not only presented a competitive offer exceeding the asking price, but also structured the purchase agreement with terms that are highly favorable to the city of St. Francis. We're ready to occupy the space immediately upon closing with no need for remodeling. Additionally, traffic patterns would not be increased or impacted negatively in an already very busy intersection. Lastly, we believe our businesses and all that we have proven to offer to the community accentuates the best in the request that the city of St. Francis had intended when placing this property up for sale. Thank you for allowing us to be considered for this opportunity and to listen to our story. I am happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Thanks, Pascal.
Mhm.
Just want to know, no, Sarah, Amy?
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any as well. so
Okay, well, very good.
Thank you.
I wrote that up good then for you guys. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate the opportunity to speak with many of you after the council meeting and then also in between. So have a good night. Thank you.
Roxanne. Shell?
Good evening, Mayor and Council and Administration. If I had a walk-up song to the podium here today, it would have been, I'm still standing. I'm not really well, I'm tired, but.
You better tell the audio who you are now and where you live.
I'm sorry. Michelle Anderson, 22861 Unity Street, Northwest Oak Grove, Minnesota. I am here on behalf of the St. Francis Chamber of Commerce, and that is the hat I am wearing right now. And I just want to give you a recap on Pioneer Days. I will say that teamwork made the dream work this year. Pioneer Days 2025 was a huge success for our community. And that success was only possible because of so many incredible people and organizations that came together. We could not have done it without the support of the St. Francis Police Department, the Fire Department, Public Works, city staff, the St. Francis Ambassadors Program, which I cannot tell you on Friday night how those ambassadors wrangled 125 kids age 11 and under. They did a color run. They all got root beer floats and gunny sack races and then a glow in the park dance party. And after all of that was going on, there was this big open area while the dance party was going on that all these kids that were there for the event were playing football with each other. They were playing catch. One of the vendors was handing out Frisbees. They were playing Frisbee. There were dads in there. Just to name drop, Kevin's son, Andy Robinson, was out there playing catch with all these boys, and it just filled my bucket. It was amazing. It was great. So, we did have one small hiccup Friday night with a few teens at the park, but that was one small moment and one small group of kids. We were able to address it. I did text Todd. We're working on getting me a police radio for next year. Right, Todd?
Yeah, she's gonna get all.
But we didn't have any other occurrences after that. And today I reached out to the school, I reached out to Paul, I reached out to Todd, I reached out to all of like the main people and saying, do you have anything to share with me? Is there anything that I missed? I keep waiting for this bomb to drop, and so far, nothing's dropped yet. I'm not saying there aren't things to work on. There were a lot of kinks. Saturday's parade went amazingly well. There were no car fires, no major medical incidents. There was a tire that fell off in the roundabout afterwards. Nothing to do with the parade. Not even a float. It was just a passerby. But the biggest issue was traffic afterwards. Todd and I talked a little bit about that today. I'm talked with the school about that a little bit. But the problem with the traffic just speaks to the incredible amount of attendance we had this year. We had, how many cases of Swedish fish did we have? We had a lot of Swedish fish. We ran out 3/4 of the way. I mean, when we got this order of Swedish fish, my husband's like, there is no possible way you are going to get rid of all that candy. I was like, well, we're ordering more next year. It was great to see the streets filled with the smiling faces. Another thing that really stood out this weekend, and I want to point it out because of the incident we had Friday night, and that was such a small group of people. It was, I'm going to say 6 to 8 young kids. I'm not going to let them wreck it for the rest of our youth, because the rest of our youth in this community did so many amazing things. You could find them cleaning up garbage. They worked behind the scenes. They engaged with the public, showed pride in the community. And some of these kids, and I just want to point it out because Boy Scout Troop 511 did amazing. Those boys worked their tails off. St. Francis Football Athletic Association, well, it was like the whole football program, walked the entire parade route picking up garbage afterwards, and they had it spick and span. Our crew went out after them and picked up signs, and there was garbage. There was no garbage. They had done a really good job cleaning it up. The St. Francis Track and Field athletes showed up Saturday morning to pick up fireworks debris and to clean up the parking lots at the St. Francis School District, where people sat for watching the fireworks. And then the St. Francis ambassadors, they did so much. They worked so hard. I was so proud of all of them, the outgoing ambassadors and the incoming. It was great. And then we also had a youth group from Abundant Life Church. There were so many though, the marching band. I mean, it was just impressive. I was so very proud. I also heard that the city-sponsored fireworks were amazing. I personally left the park at 8 o'clock and I was fast asleep shortly after that. 12-hour day on Friday, 13 hours on Saturday. The fireworks weren't in my scope, but the photos and videos that people posted on social media did confirm it was a hit. What was in my scope was being back at the high school by 7 o'clock a.m. on Sunday morning with all the volunteers. Many of you know Barb Anderson. She was there marching right alongside of us, my family, and all the kids from the track team and Abundant Life. After cleanup was back to Community Park, where we set up for community church service. This was also a really fun event because this time it was Living Hope Church and Abundant Life Church came together and did a combination church service. But other churches had reached out coming into Pioneer Days. It was too late to coordinate it. But next year we have 4 churches that are going to come together, and we're going to do community worship music a half hour before the service and a half an hour after. And then Dagamba School of Music and Art came into the tent at noon on Sunday, and they had a full day of recital with over 40 performers. With 40 performers, you have a couple parents that come with, a couple other siblings, a couple of grandparents. They brought a lot of people to the park that have never been to Pioneer Days. It wasn't their crowd of people. It wasn't something that they typically do, but most of them that I talked to will be back. And the reason I talked to them is because we sponsored golf carts that we drove people back and forth. We shuttled golf carts, and I am for sure my retirement job is going to be driving people around because it's so fun. And so we met a lot of these people and I would ask them, if I'd pick them up at the tent and I'd say, have you guys been to Pioneer Days? No, this is the first time. We had no idea what Pioneer Days even was. And we've lived here for so many years. And it was just so cool to see the new faces and stuff. So in closing, I just want to thank Mayor, Council, City Administration for your financial support, your moral support. Your investment makes this event possible. The outcome is something you should all be very proud of. We have some kinks to work out, but next year is the 60th anniversary of Pioneer Days. So we launched a survey on Friday. We haven't really got it out. Tomorrow it's going to go out big on social media, asking about dates for Pioneer Days, because some people say they don't want it on graduation weekend. Some people say they do want it on graduation weekend. To me and many of the chamber members, we don't care which weekend it is. We just know we want it in early June. We all agree that early June is the time, whether it's the weekend after Memorial, whatever it comes out to be, we want the community's input on it. So that survey is is out there now on the chamber page, but we're going to announce the actual date of the 2026 by June 30th of 2025. And we, with it being the 60th year, we're already thinking and talking about how to make Pioneer Days 2026, the 60th year, even better. So thank you all. Anybody have questions?
Start with Sarah.
I don't have any questions, but wow, I was blown away, just with how smoothly everything ran. There were people everywhere and there were no real issues. So that speaks volumes for our community. I can't thank you enough for all the work you did. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Amy?
Just as Sarah said, it was really good. I came and my family came Friday night, and then my kids were, and Saturday, and my kids were here all day Saturday. We attended the parade. I liked that there was, the parade was a little bit longer. There seemed to be more floats than in past years.
Actually, there wasn't more floats. There was, our first year and that we came back after COVID, we had 48 units. Last year we had 51 and this year we had 53.
Okay.
But this year, the Legion Post had younger, newer members and they set the pace very fast.
Okay.
That's why I'm surprised I'm still standing. I actually ran on Saturday to catch up to my float at one point.
I thought the whole parade was good. I think for a couple of years, it was maybe a little adjustment that the parade route was in a different spot, but I think it's perfect, to be honest.
Awesome.
And so I'm excited about that. And I attend actually a lot of parades because my daughter used to do marching band. So she's not doing it this year, but so I thought that was really good. I thought in the park, there was so many more vendors. I thought that was good. It was just nice to see like people couldn't get through because there were so many people, I really enjoyed that. One thing that I really enjoyed, and maybe this would go along with the 60th anniversary. I was talking to the mayor today, that little history book that maybe was done like 10 years ago and hasn't been updated. I think I'd seen it before, but I grabbed one of them and I went home and read every single word of that book. And I thought all of that history was very interesting. Mm-hmm. So I think it would be really nice maybe for the 60th if we could,
that is already in the works.
And oh, good. Oh, good. So I thought all of that was really good. Everybody seemed to be having a good time. It seemed to help that the softball tournament was going on.
The Lions did an amazing job with the softball tournament. Yeah.
I just thought it was really good. So thank you for all that you do and everyone on the chamber, because it really brings the people together. So I really enjoyed it. And I meant what I said last time. Next year, I want to help.
Oh, good. We've got jobs.
I'm better at helping in the planning part than maybe not on that day, but I could do that too. But I think I'd like to help because I had a few other ideas that
we would love to have you.
That's kind of what I like to do. So reach out to me next year if I don't remember.
Definitely will.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Sounds like you exceeded your own expectations, and the key word there, is community, and what you gave us a recap of everything, so appreciation very much to the chamber, and you did a great job, so
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. We missed your wife this year.
Next year, we had previous commitments we had to oblige by, so.
I gotta echo everything they've said here. And I mean, for my first time for the ambassador program, I was blown away. I thought maybe there'd be 50 people. I mean, yeah, it was amazing. And I know there's many, many people to thank and you know them, but it's you. It still takes that one person. And I said this about Jackie Goodell with the ambassadors too. It takes that one person and it shows you put your heart and soul into it and it shows. So thank you very much.
Thank
Good-
you.
Good job.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, thank you again for all of your support. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Michelle. Anybody else wish to speak? Seeing none, we're going to be going into closed session here, so I'm going to read, I got some statements I have to read here. In a few minutes, I'm going to close the meeting under Minnesota statute section 13D.05 subdivision 3C 2-3. The city has the ability to move into a closed meeting to, number one, to review confidential or non-public appraisal data, and number two, to develop or consider offers or counteroffers for the purchase of or sale of real property. The property under consideration is 23340 Cree Street Northwest, St. Francis, Minnesota, known as the Old City Hall property in the city of St. Francis. During the time the meeting is closed, the meeting will be tape recorded. The recording will be preserved for 8 years after the meeting. The recording of the meeting will be made available to the public after all real property discussed at the meeting has been purchased or the city has abandoned the sale. And last, a list of all members present during the closed meeting will be made available to the public after the closed meeting. I now ask for a motion to move the meeting into closed session.
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Udvig. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman by Councilman Fanis. So I am now closing the meeting. Take the vote. All in favor of closing the meeting as per stated, vote signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pull the same sign. I am now closing the meeting. Is there a motion to move the meeting back into open session?
Make that motion, Mayor.
A motion by Councilman Robinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Faunus. All those in favor of reopening the meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pull the same sign. Meeting is open again at 6:48 PM. Do I have a motion? Looking for a motion to continue negotiations on the sale of 23340 Cree Street Northwest.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Robinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Faunus. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pull the same sign. Motion passes. On to new business, design services for the warming house and ice rink. Paul.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before this evening is the design services scope and agreement with SEH for the warming house ice rink. This is where the rubber hits the road this evening. Once we sign on, begins the process of design architecturally. This particular scope, they will walk us all the way through final construction. I've written it up as a not to exceed, and it's based on an hourly fee. So as we get involved as staff, I can decrease that fee as we go along as well. So I felt it prudent to use SEH because they're the ones doing all of the grant work for us. That way their team is tied to their own team. I don't have separate pieces, possibly working against each other. Timing is important on this because we need to have the plan ready as we apply for the DNR grant and the League of Minnesota's grant. So with that, I can answer any questions you have this evening.
Amy,
I don't have any questions this time.
Kevin?
Yes, I do have questions. What if we don't get the grants?
And we don't get the grants. There is that risk.
Then we don't move forward then? We pay SEH for the money or?
So this isn't about the grant work. This actually is, this is about the actual build.
Right.
So once we start on this road, we'll continue to work through the build. So if we don't get the grants, there's always a risk of not getting a grant.
Well, so we're still budgeted for the expenses.
Yep, this is budgeted for, this is part, and
Right.
yep, this is the engineering side of that we talked about in the work session.
And if we don't,
We can
again,
still move forward.
The grants help with, it'll defray our costs.
Correct,
And our
Correct.
obligation will go down, of course.
correct.
Okay.
And that's the plan, is to hopefully, the DNR grant is a 1-for-1. So if we were to receive the 350, we would also have to fund the 350, but because the funding's already in place for this, I thought it a good idea to try and access that grant money.
Sure. Any past history of it being accepted for this type of monies?
Yes, in fact, our Cywick Park was funded through this grant.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, and then the timeline, if we agree to this, when completion date?
Yep, good question. So the timeline, it works out, it starts this summer. The grant actually, we find out in March of 26. If it all works properly and we get the grant, hopefully the full grant, construction will begin in the late summer, early fall. That's how this timeline would work. So I'm quite a ways ahead of it.
Of 2026.
Of 2026, yes. And that's why the planning phase of this, that's why we are trying to get that grant money. It takes that extra almost a year.
Okay.
So I pushed the project back almost a year because of it.
Any opportunity for you and I talked individually about advertisement on the boards? Any opportunity to explore that further? SEH have any ideas about something like
We
that?
haven't even talked about that yet. So yes, there's still opportunities there as well. Yep, that hasn't even been a subject to discuss because we have to get this agreement first and we have to get architecture and everything.
Okay. And then when your earlier vision of this when it was done would be more of a community, one to kind of replace the community center that we had, or not center, but a community building, a meeting place that you could turn some keys over to a rentor. They could have an event in there with hot and cold running water and a restroom and ADA restrooms to boot,
Correct.
and have functions and then turn the keys back over and.
Correct.
So a revenue
Correct.
stream perhaps for the city as well as a community room that the city desire.
Yes,
need.
so the end of, the place is actually gonna turn into an outside venue as well. So if somebody wants to use it, pickleball party
Right.
or whatever, they're gonna be able to do that. Yeah, so we're expanding the capabilities of that site.
Sure.
Yes, year
Okay.
round, to go year round.
I really would like to see us pursue if some, I don't know what the optics look like, but some type of sponsorship or advertising if people are, want to do something like that.
Absolutely.
Businesses.
Absolutely.
And not really to benefit the city's coffers, but just maybe a community thing and maybe even a discounted situation, but
Sure.
they get their name out there. I know Anderson really even that, like, have a word of her own. But,
For sure.
all right, that's all I got. Thank you.
Sir?
I don't have any questions on this one, Parks Department, so we've hammered a lot of stuff out.
Paul's kind of giving me the rundown on it as well, so I feel comfortable with where you're going with it, so
Very good.
keep on going.
And then this evening, we're looking for the consent for me to sign for the agreement, so.
Do I make a resolution on this or what do I gotta
Motion
do?
to authorize the proposed scope of services.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Udvig. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Oh, go ahead.
A second by Fanes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. On to Rum River Woods Playground recommendation. Paul.
Mayor and Council, I'm extremely pleased this evening to bring forward to council the Rum River Woods Playground recommendation by the Park Commission. That is why the Parks Commission was instated here a couple of years ago. We've walked them through this entire process. On top of having the Parks Commission involved, we also involved the community on this. At that time, there were 2 commissioners out, the Parks Commissioners as well. It turned out extremely well. This particular playground reaches 30 years old next year. It's gotten to the point where it is falling apart and it's time to remove it. The playgrounds, to get different bids on playgrounds, we used 3 different companies. You can't compare apples to apples because each playground has their own unique, or each playground company has their own unique. So we get close with the money. We have it within 10% of each of the bids. They picked this out. The other thing that the Park Commission asked is that if Public Works, there'll be some leftover funding from what was stated at the work session. And I have not got the prices on the asphalt for half court yet, but I will be working on that as well. The reason I wanted to bring this forward as soon as I can is we would like to see this installed before the end of the summer. If it's okay, this evening, we can get the order in and get this process moving. There's a fairly large delay. This price includes installation. To save some money, Public Works is removing the old one. We'll actually pull out the old playground and remove the P-rock. We can, however, continue to use the curbing that's there. It's still in excellent shape. So we're going to use some of the pieces that are already on site. So with that, I can answer any questions this evening.
Kevin?
The community involvement, how many, was this one, I'll back up. Was it the top 3 or tie within the top 5 that remember? We did a park assessment, I think 2 years ago, we started, or not started, but we looked at it. And it was just one of the ones where a couple people came to the meetings and said, and we, I think, got letters instead. Dilapidated, half missing, items missing and.
Correct. So I don't remember where it ranked as far as the ranking. I don't remember that right offhand, Mr. Robinson. However, yes, this is the park that everybody's complaining about. We've gotten letters from it. We've gotten emails. I keep it all on record. And in the last 3 years, this one has been the one that everybody's wanted to replace. It is the oldest park we have. So
That, you had, people who raised concerns. Are there other ones out there that are just as bad as this and nobody said anything? In other words, squeaky wheels get
So,
greased?
no, that's an excellent question. So no, they aren't as bad as this park. The problem is the other parks that are coming up were all put in approximately the same years. So it's going to get tight. The administrator and I have been working on a CIP for the park system that's coming that you're going to be able to see. It's going to get tight, but yes, we should be able to pull this off as long as we stay on the course we're on.
And then you think the same people, the couple letters that we got, the community will enjoy this when it's all said and done? It'll actually be a magnet?
Sure. So Mayor and Council, at that meeting, I wasn't sure what to expect. We had it on site at Rum River Woods. Again, you never know. What's that?
Great idea.
It
Have it on
worked,
site.
it worked out really well. There were actually, I think, 20 people there. Everybody that called me, that emailed us and that wrote to were there. It actually worked out perfectly. They've had input on it. In fact, a majority of the input was kind of unique because we showed up wondering if anybody was going to show up to the meeting. And it was like the Sandlot. All of a sudden, these little kids come riding in on their bikes. I'm not joking. And they're playing ball. So I walked up to them and I said, "Hey, what would you like to see out here?" Oh man, they had their opinions. I mean, it was incredible. And the kids kept coming and then the parents started showing up. It was a really unique experience. And so I've kept them there. Hopefully they're watching this evening because I've been emailing them, letting them know here's where we're at. And this was the park commission meeting. I'll be presenting it to council tonight. So I'm hoping we'll see some response tomorrow because what we've told them we were going to do, it's in front of you right now. So
Great.
yeah, excellent questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's all, sir.
No, the park commission, spent a lot of time going over the plans and looking and discussing and, they've done a good job. They're a really passionate group of people. That's really fun. It's really fun to sit on that and watch them. So I'm really excited to see this happen. That community, that park has been, I mean, I moved here in 2012 and people were complaining about it. And so it's nice to finally make some movement on our part.
Amy?
I think it looks great. I mean, my kids are a little older now, but I went to parks all the time with them. And if something's broken, it's all of a sudden a hazard and kids are gonna get hurt on it. So we obviously need to upgrade that. I think the park or, what you've chosen here, it looks amazing. So, yeah, I'm all for it. So.
Very good. And I want council to know that what was chosen from the people that were there that night, the ages and everything. It relates perfectly to what they're looking for. So I think it's a great decision.
Sounds good, Paul. Thank you. Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve the purchase of this playground equipment?
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
No, you do it, sir.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Robinson. Do I have a second?
I will second, Mayor.
Councilman Udvig seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. On to work session requests. Kate?
Mayor and Council, before you tonight is a work session request for Monday, July 28th.
Everybody want to look at their calendars and see if that works?
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Fire away.
Just to recap, Kate, we've got one on the 9th, correct? The work session on the 9th?
Correct.
Yeah, it's next Monday, correct. And you're looking for July 28th?
Monday.
Monday.
Yep.
It works with my schedule. I don't know anybody else.
Should be fine for me.
2,
Good by me.
okay.
Perfect.
Let's-
Thank you.
July 28th.
The 5:30 start then also, Kate?
Correct.
Thank you.
Right here in Chambers.
Correct.
Meeting open to the public again. Anybody from the public want to speak? Tim? I think it was. No, I'm just asking if you want to.
Is he coming up?
I will say something.
Hunter's shaking his head no, so I know Hunter's a no.
So Tim Holland's not a resident of the city. Spend 12 to 14 hours a day in the city, but I'm not a resident. And 3645 Bridge Street is kind of a home. So been here for about 50 years. So pioneer days. Best I ever seen. 50 years. I've seen the Wall Tillers, the Vicky Zimmermans, the George Moes, Barb Held for about 30 years. They all did good jobs, but always something was wrong or this or that. But this is like the best. I can't remember, this is the best. So One thing, we got something good. You know, and this is something for the city and for actually the people in this town. You know, if you have something good and if you have something good, you know, cherish it. And keep it good, because along with the good that's already here, there will be more good that will follow. So whatever you have, cherish it and keep it good. So that's it.
Thank you,
Good
Tim.
advice.
And thank you for everything you do for the city too. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Oh, big thanks, Paul, everything, please. I heard there's only one really DWI or whatever, but that's good, you know, there's 30 cars in the Legion and and Tasty's there. That's good. I like to see all those cars there, you know, but thank you very much, because that's part of why this is the best. There's like no incidents, you know. And Michelle, there's a rumor out there that we have the M&M girls with no nuts. They're the ones that kind of
Oh, my.
really make,
Yes, please do.
they really make things go, and people wanna work with them and be involved with them, and they're the fireworks in this town, so.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
Good. You got the good here, so. Embrace them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what that meant, but.
I just have to explain the M&M girl. So Melissa is the president of the Lions. I'm the president of the chamber. So Tim introduced us as the M&M girls, and Melissa followed it up. M&Ms with no nuts. Now nicknamed us that.
It's a good one.
Thank you for that. Council member reports, Amy.
None for me, except everything I said earlier about Pioneer Days. I thought it was great. And that was it.
Thank you. Kevin?
None for me. I was out of town for a while and now I'm back, so.
Sarah?
I'm still attending the Citizens Academy. It's been really fun, really enlightening. Very, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus here. Joe Muehlbar may have gotten tased, but I managed to tase myself.
Oh, no.
That's right, folks. So they said, point the taser anywhere over there. So Sarah points it, I yell, taser, taser, taser. I fire it. It manages to hit one of the trailers from Public Works, bounces back, hits the cement and goes into my shoe. So there you go.
Is there video of this?
There's a picture of the prong in my shoe
Okay.
somewhere floating around, but yes, so Muehlbar may have gotten tased, but I won't have done. There you go. Officer Hearn is like, really? I don't want you, but whatever. And then I was at Pioneer Days as well, and I just again want to reiterate the thanks to the chamber and the Lions for all of their work, because it was an amazing.
Great, thank you.
Oh, I should
go ahead.
also say that I want to congratulate the new ambassadors. We have Chelsea and Grace are our Miss, and our littles are, oh gosh, I'm gonna forget their names again. Aubrey, Ella, and
Paper.
nope, it's
She's the old one.
Aaliyah. I can't remember. We always said her name wrong, but they are full of spunk. And they are gonna really do a great job representing our city as they go out and are in the parades and all the events. They just are gonna really speak volumes for our city. I think it's great. It was a very, very hard choice to pick. You don't ever want to have to tell little girls that they didn't win, but, anybody who, I'm sure there's gonna be video coming out, but just watching the girls when they win. I mean, seriously, all three of us judges were crying because it was just so amazing watching how shocked and how happy and it's a process and they have put a lot of time in before coronation. They put hours and hours and hours in. So thank you to all the candidates as well. And congratulations to Jackie on her 15 years. She has done amazing. So.
Thank you, sir.
That's it.
Continued accolades for Pioneer Days. It was just a big hit. So I know there were many people involved. I don't know hardly a fraction of them, but thank them all. So especially the chamber. Only other thing I have to report on is just what continued discussions with the Bethel Fire Department. We're getting a little more closer now on getting down to some of the nitty gritty stuff. So look forward to sharing more with that as we move forward. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
I will make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Udvig. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Robinson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Meeting's adjourned at 7:09 PM.